So lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV main news. To present, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news tonight. MMD and one other political party refused to sign peace accord, citing issues with the PF. New Heritage Party calls on ECZ to loosen campaign restrictions. Government to resume paying traditional leaders as ruled by the Constitutional Court. And in international news, death toll rises as South Africa violence spirals. And in sports news, Zambia fails to defend the COSAFA Cup as MICHO shifts attention to World Cup qualifiers.
Camnet TV offers a wide range of advertising spaces for motion adverts, preaching programs, social media advertising, studio facilities, productions, programs, and documentaries. Grow your business with us at Camnet TV. For advertising space, visit our offices at plot number 396/100, Ibex Hill, Kablonga Road. Call 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can email us at info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello once again, another news in detail. A vehicle belonging to traction vehicles had Wednesday morning plunged into a drainage full of contaminated water after the driver lost control along Chandrum-Sonda Road in Lusaka's industrial area. Eyewitnesses have told Camnet News that the accident was caused by excessive speeding while the driver by the traction vehicle was trying to avoid hitting into another vehicle that was parked along the road. The driver of the vehicle, whose identity is not known, escaped unhurt while the vehicle has been retrieved by the police officers. We have details in the following report. The Commonwealth has commended all political parties who turned up for the peace signing ceremony at Mulungushi International Conference Center today. Speaking at the conference, Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland is hopeful that the peace and non-violence pledge that was signed Wednesday by Zambia's political leaders will mark the beginning of brotherly politicking and violence-free elections in Zambia. She says elections should be an opportunity to engage in political debate over issues and perspectives and not a platform for trading insults and blows. The signing of the peace pledge was being spearheaded by the Coalition for Peaceful Elections in Zambia, CIPES. The platform was co-convened by the Zambia Center for Inter-Party Dialogue, ZCID, and the church mother bodies. We have more in this report.
As Zambia counts down to this year's general election, the need for political leaders to work towards enhancing unity and peaceful coexistence among different political parties is a desire for all well-meaningful Zambians. To maintain the peace that Zambia has enjoyed from its independence, a number of interventions by stakeholders have been put in place. The efforts have therefore brought together strategic organizations whose main goal is to prevent electoral violence that has continued to be witnessed in past elections and recently in some parts of the country. Today, political party leaders turned up at Mulungushi Conference Center to sign the peace pledge organized by the three church mother bodies and the Zambia Center for Inter-Party Dialogue. Speaking at the conference, Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland thanked Zambia's political leaders present to reaffirm their commitment to a peaceful Zambia. And the Patriotic Front, represented by the Party Secretary General Davis Mwila, has directed all party members to uphold peace in response to this commitment.
As a party, we have directed all our party members to conduct issue-based campaigns based on our achievements, our ideas, and our policies as spelled out in our party manifesto. As a party, we intend to win the forthcoming elections in a free, fair, and transparent manner, without any form of political violence or insult.
And the United Party for National Development Party President Ms. Hakainde Hichilema has submitted his message of peace and given recommendation to how it can be actualized.
Compliance to agreements such as what we want to sign today is essential. That is the missing link. That's why we continue signing agreements, because we don't comply to the agreements. Number 5, leadership. Leadership by all key stakeholders is needed now than ever before. Who are these key stakeholders? Political party leaders, church leaders, police, Electoral Commission of Zambia, UN, indeed Commonwealth and other cooperative partners. If we all provide leadership, we love our country, stable country, we shall have a free and fair election. And the winner will take the day. There should be no problem with the loser as long as it's a free and fair election.
And all political leaders present submitted their message of peace and pledged to uphold unity as they conduct their respective political activities.
CZ, please ask the police to stand down and respect the electoral process. They must not be used to intimidate political parties. Allow all parties to freely campaign while observing the COVID-19 regulations. Punish erring parties and not imposing blanket restrictions that end up supporting the party in government. Let there be open dialogue among the various leaders of political parties. After all, we only have one Zambia that we should all strive to protect by any means necessary.
Zambians, we have a responsibility to keep Zambia peaceful, not only to ourselves, but for others that may seek refuge here. Secondly, it's not possible to grow an economy in an environment where there is strife. We have seen what strife does in other nations and the people thereof. I therefore urge every Zambian to reject violence and opt for peace, regardless of provocation or other situation.
And the spirit of this moment is his prayer which he made, and where he says, I further declare that Zambia shall forever enjoy tranquility and remain a united and peaceful people under the motto, one Zambia, one nation.
With this kind of commitment, people of Zambia are hopeful that political leaders will continue to preach peace and unity before, during, and after elections.
Those are peers.
Thank you very much.
Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, opposition movement for multi-party democracy, MMD, has refused to sign the peace accord, citing differences with the ruling Patriotic Front. Speaking at the peace accord signing ceremony, MMD Vice President Ruben Sambo says it is pointless for his party to sign the peace accord when it has pending issues with the ruling Patriotic Front that needs to be ironed out. And Third Liberation Movement Party President Enoch Tonga has equally refused to sign the peace accord, accusing the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, of failing to deal with the real culprits of violence, who are the United Party for National Development, UPND, and the Patriotic Front. We have details in this report.
The signing of the peace accord in Lusaka did not go without drama, as some political leaders such as the Third Liberation Movement Party sees no reason for signing a peace accord when the real culprits of violence are known. Speaking when he was given a podium to explain what he feels about the signing of a peace accord, Third Liberation Movement Party President Enoch Tonga had this to say.
Mine is clear and very particular. As in the Third Liberation Movement, muti mutachabe, muletushabe. You want to hear a message of peace, by dragging us into this activity we are not in. It must be pointed out clearly that Lungu and Hakainde
And before he could finish his remarks, his mic was turned off and later guided by stakeholders to stick to the real matter of the meeting before being given another chance to speak, where he refused to sign the peace accord.
My message is very clear. I am not going to issue any message of peace to the people of Zambia because we know who is at fault. PF and UPNB, they must be answered.
And Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, MMD, represented by its Vice President Ruben Sambo, equally refused to sign the peace accord, citing pending issues with the ruling Patriotic Front.
We have been, as MMD, on the receiving end of sustained provocation from the Patriotic Front for the longest time. As late as yesterday, our colleagues were busy with their efforts. We are therefore reserved to sign on the dotted lines where they sign, because we think it is hypocritical on their part, and it will certainly be hypocritical on our part. However, we are willing to sign once we get an indication from the Patriotic Front that they will abandon their provocative ways.
And commenting on the matter shortly after the meeting, Caritas Zambia Executive Director Eugene Kabilika has commended the MMD party for availing themselves at the meeting despite not signing the peace accord.
MMD has been very courageous to come to this peace conference and had been very clear in making their mind towards the signing of the pledge. Of course, we would have loved them to sign the pledge, but of course they gave their reason that they still have problems that are unresolved with PF. Yes, in fact, that is what is supposed to happen. People are supposed to iron out the differences, and then after ironing out the differences, then they commit to upholding that which they have ironed out, which is which was supposed to be the case. We had a dialogue before coming to this signing place with other political parties, and so there haven't been much of a problem. So we encourage the MMD, since they committed themselves to sign the pledge after they've ironed those differences, then it will be very good for them to come on board and join the train of non-violence and peace building in the country of Zambia.
With 14 political leaders out of 16 contesting the August general election signing the peace accord, political violence should now be a thing of the past, as political leaders now have a task to tell off their cadres to put their knives and pangas away and focus on the real issue, which is winning the August general elections. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
United Party for National Development UPND Ikelenge District aspiring Member of Parliament Elijah Muchima has rubbished sentiments by Zambia's Republican President Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu that his government has failed to implement projects in the area because this former Member of Parliament was mismanaging resources. Mr. Muchima says the contractor who was hired by the government to work on Ikelenge Road has abandoned the project due to non-payment, which he says has nothing to do with him as the former Member of Parliament. Mr. Muchima adds that he does not control the national finances, but claims he did his role of lobbying for resources from the government, but all in vain. He laments that his constituency has, since 2013, only received the Constituency Development Fund 3 times, which makes it impossible to implement projects.
It's very unfortunate President Lungu can refer to the failures of PF to an MP. That's not correct. There are many projects that this government has failed to execute. There are MPs from PF strongholds. There are projects there that have failed. COSAFA is one of them. I've got even a clip. President Lungu came to Ikelenge last time. I told him that they are not funding these projects for the past 8 years, let alone the road, which went and commissioned and involved some gentleman called Kasongo, Freka. And he promised the people of Mwinilunga Ikelenge that the road will be done in 3 years. He cannot use me as a scapegoat. Did he provide any money for any project that we failed to execute? Mayor CDF, where all MPs, PF, UPND, and what have you, came together, they have failed to give us. They have only funded it 3 times. 3 times in the 8 years or more now.
New Heritage Party running mate Samuel Kasanka has described the 2021 election campaign period as the quietest in Zambia's history since independence in 1964 due to campaign restrictions in the country. In an exclusive interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Kasanka says while other political parties have been restricted from conducting roadshows and other physical campaign activities citing the coronavirus, the ruling party has been going round the country in the name of inspecting development projects. He has called on the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, to consider lessening campaign restrictions as only 4 weeks remain before the general elections. We have more in this report.
The coronavirus pandemic has brought a change to the face of politics in many countries, Zambia included. Rallies, roadshows, and other similar gatherings have been seen as super spreader events and were hence banned by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, which further advised that all political parties should make media campaigns their preferred option to curb the spread of the virus. Zambia is to hold its general elections on 12 August 2021, which is a period of 4 weeks from now. The New Heritage Party has called on ECZ to lessen the campaign restrictions, saying the party feels that election campaigns have not been fair. Heritage Party Vice President and running mate Mr. Samuel Kasanka says while other political parties have been mainly dependent on the media to campaign, the ruling party has had the chance to meet electorates while saying the inspecting development project.
We are given so many restrictions which make it very difficult for us to reach out to the masses. What has been left open to most of us is just the media. Okay? I can't even mount a PA system on a vehicle, go with my sister, and we are making announcements, no road shows. So this is the quietest campaign that I can ever remember since independence, and it's unfair. It will not produce the will of the people unless the people are voting on the basis of something else other than the messages that we are supposed to give. So we are calling on ECZ to ease the restrictions that are put on us. Why is COVID affecting only us in the opposition?
He has also added that the party, along with other political parties, also need a chance to engage electorates on a personal basis. He says they remain willing to observe coronavirus regulations such as masking up, sanitizing, and observing a social distance of at least 1 meter. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Opposition Movement for Democratic Change, MDC, has charged that the UPND alliance is a party vested with a diverse expertise good enough to manage the vast needs that are much needed in order to correct the ailing economy amongst many of the issues that the country is currently challenged with. Speaking during a mobilization tour in central provinces, Kawama and Katondo areas, the MDC President Felix Mutati says the UPND alliance members saw it fit not to divide the vote by pursuing personal party agendas, but to work as a unit in order to help redeem the country from the Patriotic Front, PF. Mr. Mutati further encouraged the people of Central Province to come out in numbers and vote on the 12th of August.
Zambia wina kana marika pona chimutati chamwa fa kwentito. So ifuna tuipela. But uyuinde kwala bomba nankwe. Ine says wano kwa fuma na Zambia wina Zambia. Na ishibati amano ayakuwombe chito alikwata. Echo chinda abantu wale mufira majelasi. Echo chinda abantu abamupata bantu amano yafula. Nomano mwadika pa amano yako hikaide mwadika pa na yako mutati na kebie. Tukampela kuisa.
The Economic Freedom Fighters EFF party has charged that agriculture is one of the sectors that need to be domesticated for the country to realize the much-needed revenue. In an interview with Camnet TV, EFF party president Kasonde Mwenda has lamented that Zambia's agricultural model is mainly practiced on a subsistence scale. Mr. Mwenda notes that government has not put up better agricultural policies which discourage many from engaging in it. We have details in this report.
Exactly 28 days remain before Zambia goes to the polls for general elections. 16 political parties are competing for leadership positions on the 2021 ballot, and each of them are competing with ideas of how Zambia should be developed. Economic Freedom Fighters Party President Kasonde Mwenda says for Zambia to develop, the country needs to create policies that will enable agriculture to be conducted on a large scale to allow the country generate income from the same. He says agriculture today in the country is mainly meant to ensure food security, as it is mostly subsistence farming.
You find that our production capacity as Zambia is sustained by subsistence farmers. Where are the commercial farmers? This shows that as government, the successive governments that have been there, they have not used agriculture as a money earner to develop the country, but it has just been used as a shield to protect people from dying of hunger. But as economic freedom fighters, we are looking at agriculture as a mainstay that can bring money and make people rich. So we are looking at bringing cooperatives, training people.
The party leader further says the country needs to move away from the trend of constructing roads only along the line of rail, as this does not bring development to the whole country, but only certain areas. Mr. Mwenda further says Zambians need to be empowered with customary land in their villages in order for them to develop meaningful projects.
Every Zambian on the NRC, there is your village and there is a chief. The reason why there is that is an entitlement to land. But you see, you could be in Lusaka here, and your village is in Katete. So what do? There is provision in the law that allows you can get a transfer letter and transfer your village from Katete to come here in Lusaka and come and get customer land for free. You don't need to pay. Some of us have done that already. We have done these things. So it doesn't mean when you are you will come from Kwachunda Ponde, unless you go Kwachunda Ponde and your family is here. No. You can transfer village because we are a unitary state. So as economic freedom fighters, we'll make it easy for people to transfer villages. It's one Zambia, you can be born in Western Province and transfer your village legally. These are things are not new. They are actually there.
He has further expressed that if the country is to see development, industrialization should not be treated as an option. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Republican President Edgar Lungu has urged the newly appointed judges not to let down the people of Zambia, as their appointment comes at a time when the country is in an election year, and that during this period and after the elections, they become inundated with cases of political nature. Speaking during the swearing-in ceremony of 10 High Court judges, Wednesday morning, the 14th of July 2021, President Lungu says the newly appointed judges are accountable to the citizens who desire to see a positive turnaround in the judicial system in as far as handling of court cases is concerned. The head of state adds that their swearing in is well deserved and will increase the number of High Court judges from 41 to 51. In total, the head of state has sworn in 17 judges apportioned to serve in the Supreme Court, Constitutional Court, Court of Appeal and the High Court. Among the High Court judges sworn in today are Mrs. Dorcas Munkombwe Malama, Mr. Charles Kafunda, Mr. Daniel Musonda, Mr. Joshua Banda, Mrs. Miriam Matandala, Mrs. Twambo Shalwindi Musonda, and Mwaka Mikalile, John Mbuzi, and Mr. Lamek Mwale.
Musonda Shalwindi Twambo.
Musonda Shalwindi Twambo.
Sinyangwe Willy.
Sinyangwe Willy.
Mbuzi Harrison John.
Mbuzi Harrison John.
It is important, therefore, that as you take up your new roles in the High Court, you should use your individual previous experiences in the administration of justice to improve service delivery in the courts. You are, remember, accountable to the people of Zambia who desire to see a positive turnaround in the judicial system, especially in as far as handling of cases is concerned. Let me reiterate that as newly appointed High Court judges, you are taking up your duties at a time when the public has been enlightened about their rise to efficient and effective administration of justice. You should therefore not let them down. When I'm appointing ministers, I tell them, don't let me down, because they're answerable to me first, before they're answerable to the Republic of Zambia. But you are directly answerable to the Republic of Zambia, the public, not to me. So reluctantly remind you that we are now in a campaign period, and it is during this period and after elections that we become inundated with cases of political nature. I can only hope and trust that you are up to the task and you shall preside over these cases without fear or favor, fairly and expeditiously.
The Lusaka High Court has struck out with costs a matter in which former Agriculture Minister MICHO sued his area councillor Delight Mutale for defamation. According to an order signed by Judge Pixie Yangailo, the matter has been struck out from the active cause list because no progress has been made over the case both from the plaintiff and defendant. Mr. Katambo in this case had sued Mr. Mutale seeking damages for defamation of character for accusing him of stealing taxpayers' money and abandoning his family. Mr. Katambo stated that the statements made against him were that he was the richest cabinet minister who had amassed wealth using a privileged position, among other allegations. He wanted, among other things, an apology from Mr. Mutale to be circulated to the recipient of the defamatory statements and, conversely, a public apology in a daily newspaper having a wide circulation in Zambia. But in his defense, Mr. Mutale denied issuing slanderous statements against Mr. Katambo. The Constitutional Court has ruled that the Ministry of Chiefs and Traditional Affairs breached the Constitution by stopping payment of subsidies of new chiefs who came after the 2016 Constitution. Delivering judgment Wednesday afternoon, Constitutional Court Judge Enoki Mulembe, on behalf of others, says the government is obliged to pay chiefs subsidies in accordance with the Constitution. In this matter, the Litunga of the Lozi-speaking people of Western Province, with 3 other paramount chiefs, had petitioned the Constitutional Court over the government's decision to strip chiefs of their salaries. The Litunga, together with Kalonga Gawa Undi of the Chewa people of Zambia, Malawi and Mozambique, Chitimkulu of the Bemba-speaking people, and Mpezeni of the Ngoni, cited the Attorney General seeking a declaration that every chief and deputy chief shall be paid for the purpose of enabling them to maintain the dignity and status of the office of the chief and discharge the functions of the office of the chief under African customary law in a fit and proper manner.
The Constitutional Court has ruled in favor of 4 paramount chiefs who had petitioned it over the government's decision to strip new chiefs of their salaries. The Litunga of the Lozi-speaking people, together with Kalonga Gawa Undi of the Chewa and Senga people of Zambia, Malawi and Mozambique, Chitimukulu of the Bemba-speaking people, and Pezeni of the Ngoni, had cited the Attorney General in this matter seeking a declaration that every chief and deputy chief shall be paid for the purpose of enabling them to maintain the dignity and status of the office of the chief and discharge the functions of the offices of the chief under African customary law in a fit and proper manner. During the start of the petition, the Lutunga and his counterparts submitted before court that in February 2020, the Minister of Chiefs and Traditional Affairs, in a letter addressed to the permanent secretaries in Western, Northwestern, Northern and Lopla Province, advised that following the Constitutional Court's declaration in a matter involving Webi Mulawashi and the Attorney General that Section 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 of the Chiefs Act to be inconsistent with Article 165 of the Constitution and are therefore unconstitutional and void, there was no legal basis upon which a chief was to be paid. They submitted that the Ministry of Chiefs and Traditional Affairs told them that in view of the foregoing, it had been directed that no new chief was eligible for payment of subsidies after the judgment of the court dated November 27, 2019. However, delivering judgment Wednesday afternoon, Constitutional Court Judge Enoch Mulembe, on behalf of others, ruled that the directive given by the Ministry of Chiefs not to pay subsidies to new chiefs is contrary and contravenes the provision of the Constitution. And counsel representing the plaintiffs had this comment.
The Concord has also found that the Ministry of Chiefs have breached the Constitution by stopping the payment of subsidies to chiefs who come after the 2016 Constitution. So all chiefs are entitled now to receive their subsidies as it used to be before the 2016 amendment to the Constitution.
The court also gave its position on some of the claims sought by the plaintiffs that the court declares that they have the authority to continue to administer and resolve traditional matters according to customary law in their traditional courts.
It has now clarified a position which was not clear after they had made a judgment in the Mlovisha case, which is the powers of the paramount chiefs. There was debate or thinking that following the Mlovisha case, these four paramount chiefs had no role or their powers to discipline erring chiefs under them was taken away. And so the court has reinforced that position, that in fact that position remains intact. So these four paramount chiefs are able to discipline any chiefs under them. Their powers to make sure that a chief is recognized according to the tradition and custom of that particular area are followed.
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Rural Electrification Authority REA board chairman in his individual capacity has awarded Morgan Banda, a man who walked from Chipata, Eastern Province on foot to send a message of peace in honor of First Republican President Kenneth Kaunda with an air ticket to return home. Mr. Chikwanda says Morgan Banda has shown exemplary patriotism to what the late Dr. Kaunda stood for. Meanwhile, Ministry of
covered on foot in honor of the first Republican President, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. A journey that takes about 7 hours by road took him 10 days to arrive in Lusaka. Mr. Banda was honored upon arrival by Lusaka Province Permanent Secretary, and Wednesday, another person in his own individual capacity has bought him a plane ticket so he can return home. Rural Electrification Authority Board Chairman Johnson Chikwanda has honored Mr. Morgan Banda and praised him for his patriotism and the championing of peace.
One of such persons that he touched and inspired was not only me, but many people, including Mr. Morgan Banda, who walked from Chipata all the way to Lusaka to come and pay his rusty respects. And in the journey, he was sending a message of hope, encouraging the people on the importance of the national values such as patriotism, love, and unity. And when I heard that, my mind went to how is he going to go back after he has achieved his objective of coming to Lusaka, using other structures of engagement. We managed to get hold of him, and he indicated that he was going to go back by road.
Mr. Banda said loyalty and patriotism were some of Dr. Kaunda's leadership virtues, hence embarking on this journey to share the message.
We are appealing to all our political leaders, all the aspiring candidates, and all the followers who follows all different political parties of our motherland Zambia, to say, let us emulate the spirit of our founding father, the great KK. May allow his spirit to be among us. May we please help our followers, all the political leaders, to maintain peace, love, and unity during the campaigns, even after the elections, so that Zambia is reserved for better tomorrow Zambia. And even in the legacy of our great father, to continue roaring on our land.
Meanwhile, Information and Broadcasting Services Permanent Secretary Amos Malupenga was present when the ticket was being presented to Mr. Morgan Banda, says government acknowledges the effort being put up to supplement the message of peace and unity.
And we are happy to say that you are intact. Your legs are not swollen, you arrived safely, everything okay. And obviously you have participated in keeping alive Dr. Kaunda's legacy in your own way. You have motivated a lot of people.
Mr. Banda is scheduled to take the flight Thursday, 15th July 2021. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbanda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
President Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the Patriotic Front have transformed the transportation sector by facilitating the construction of bus stations around the country. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
Camnet TV offers a wide range of advertising spaces for motion adverts, preaching programs, social media advertising, studio facilities, productions, programs, and documentaries. Grow your business with us at Camnet TV. For advertising space, visit our offices at plot number 396/100, Ibex Hill, Kablonga Road. Call 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. The Forum for African Women Educationists of Zambia, FAWEZA, has observed that Zambia is likely to record high numbers of pregnancy cases among school-going girls due to closure of schools, especially in rural areas. FAWEZA Programs Manager Faith Minja has revealed that due to the impact of the COVID-19, the girls have been exposed to various illicit activities. Ms. Minja says the country is likely to surpass the earlier record of 15,000 early child pregnancy cases. We have more in this report.
When you look at culturally and generally the way the situation is in our country and in our communities, the labor burden is mainly on the females and the girls. When schools are closed, the mother and the girl child, really the mother is happy that at least I have a help at home. You find that she's busy working here and there as opposed to her reading. It means that even when schools close, this girl will not be able to catch up with school. So all those are the ripple effects of the closure of schools. And the COVID-19 really has brought about quite a lot of issues. So we are really worried about the girls and the women. And it is our appeal to stakeholders that we need to work together and finding lasting solutions to ensure that when schools open, we find ways and means to see to it that the Ministry of General Education should strategically plan so that the learners are able to catch up with their lost time. Because really, the performance of girls and learners generally will really be affected because of the closure of our schools as a result of COVID-19.
The Media Institute of Southern Africa, MISA Zambia, has appealed to the media fraternity to be optimistic about the proposed improved conditions, including the harmonizing of salaries by government earlier this year. MISA Zambia Programs Manager Jane Chirwa has revealed that the proposed introduction of minimum wage for journalists by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is still underway, and various stakeholders are on board in ensuring it is actualized in due course. Ms. Chirwa has reassured the media fraternity that the implementation of this proposal will be a stepping stone for a stable media environment in Zambia. We have details in this report.
As a fourth estate, the work that is carried out by the media cannot be overemphasized. However, journalists have been victimized with a number of issues: low wages, poor services, violence, among others. This is one of the key issues that affect journalists as they carry out their work and maintain professionalism. Earlier this year, government through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security announced the introduction of a minimum wage for journalists to enhance professionalism in the media. As a key stakeholder in the process, Mr. Zambia Program Manager Jane Chirwa has reassured a media fraternity that the implementation of this proposal is underway and will be a stepping stone for a stable media environment in Zambia.
To improve on the working conditions, put up a minimum wage for journalists in the country, and I know that process has commenced, so we will wait to hear from them what the salary scales they have developed right now or what has happened. It's very important for any employee to be motivated. An employee has rights, so yeah, we are also looking forward to that. We've been given also a platform for us to engage with the Ministry of Labour to be able to input towards that. It's one of the things that came out in the State of the Media reports in terms of remuneration of journalists and media workers. So we are happy that there is that process that is taking place.
Meanwhile, Ms. Chirwa has called on all journalists to remain optimistic and undertake their work objectively, especially as the country gets closer to the general elections.
So even us as media, as we are reporting, we can continue to remind everyone of that, and we can just educate them and inform them about who are some of these contestants that are there. That's why even the Electoral Code of Conduct stipulates how we are able to provide this coverage, and we should just avoid the disinformation, hate speech, because they take away from a rich debate that's supposed to make us as a country choose the best leader from amongst those that have offered themselves. So if you have social media platforms, definitely you still have to report the truth as is required by those legal provisions, but also by the ethical provisions that we have in the country.
Journalists are key to national development, and so they deserve to have better conditions of services. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Southern Africa Cross-Border Traders Association says the riots in South Africa will cause a spike in the prices of goods and products in Zambia, as the country is a major importer of South African products. Association Secretary General Jacob Makambwe says South Africa has been experiencing a series of riots leading to the destruction of property following the arrest of Jacob Zuma, former South African president. Mr. Makambwe says prices in Zambia will be affected owing to a disruption in the supply chain, which will result in low supply by high demand for products. Meanwhile, Executive Director of the Buy Zambia campaign, Evans Ngoma, says this is a wake-up call for Zambia to stop being heavily dependent on importation and become more self-reliant, and lamented that up to 60% of produce, such as fruits and vegetables, which can be locally grown, are also imported from South Africa. We have details in this report.
All eyes around the world have been on South Africa in the past few days as mass riots have been sparking in the country following the arrest of Jacob Zuma, former South African president. The citizens who have been running amok have taken to the burning of shopping malls and the destruction of property. The Southern Africa Cross-Border Association says the riots in South Africa are likely to cause a spike in prices of goods in Zambia, as the country is a major importer of South African products. Association Secretary General Jacob Munkombwe says due to disruption in the supply chain, import costs are likely to rise as there will be a high demand for products but a low supply.
The civil unrest that is in South Africa has actually got ripple impact, especially now that we are dealing with the COVID impact. You've actually seen what is happening. I think most of the borders have always been closed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so many cross-border traders depended on online platforms or online business linkages in order for them to order goods from countries like South Africa. So we actually saw what actually happened, the burning down of warehouses, and now this particular unrest is even coming to Johannesburg, Gauteng, and these are the major areas where small-scale traders would actually get their goods and services.
Executive Director of the Buy Zambia campaign, Evans Ngoma, however, says it is surprising that Zambia continues to import up to 60% of produce, such as fruits and vegetables, from South Africa when they can be grown locally. He says this is a wake-up call for Zambia to enhance efforts aimed at becoming more self-reliant.
The current happenings in South Africa, a wake-up call to us Zambians. Yes, it is gospel truth that we entirely depend on most of our fruits being imported from South Africa. A movement of goods and services has been entirely disrupted. So now, if our factories here in Zambia were waiting for raw materials to come from South Africa, it means that from now up to until we do not know exactly, there will be a shortfall in supply of these essentials. And so if we continue to rely on imports, it means that instances like we are seeing today will affect us adversely. And so we are calling upon all stakeholders, the government, line ministries, to come up with policies that will ensure that our agriculture sector in Zambia is something that one can talk about.
Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Ministry of Health says Zambia is yet to receive 100,000 doses of Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccines from the People's Republic of China. In a daily COVID-19 update statement, Ministry Permanent Secretary Dr. Kennedy Malama says Zambia has, in the last few days, seen a high demand of people wanting to be vaccinated. And Dr. Malama has also revealed that out of the 4.4 million doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccines, 165,600 doses have been allocated to Zambia by the American government through the COVAX mechanism. Meanwhile, the country has recorded 45 COVID-19 deaths and 1,801 new cases in the last 24 hours. Dr. Malama has since urged the public to observe set health measures, avoid seeking medical attention, and resorting to self-diagnosis, prescription, and medication. Siavonga Town Council Public Relations Officer Gwendoline Mchenga has expressed disappointment at the reluctance to observing COVID-19 measures by the market traders in the district. The local authority, with the Office of the District Commissioner, undertook a spot check compliance levels on Wednesday. Ms. Mchenga says the local authority has since resolved to turn back anyone who will not wear a mask starting Monday next week. She says this is aimed at encouraging people to at least observe the rule of masking up, a COVID preventive measure. We have more in this report.
What we are going to do on Monday, we are going to start our program at 06 hours, where we are going to have state police and council police right at the main entrance of the market. And this exercise will be conducted so that people without masks should not be allowed to enter the markets. And also what we are going to do is we are going to make sure that marketeers do not sell their commodities to customers that will not be wearing masks. And for marketeers that will be found trading without masks will be asked to leave the market immediately. So we are doing this, we are not doing this to punish people. We are actually doing this to protect the lives of people and the innocent children that we leave at home. So Monday, that is the program that we are going to do as a council. And we are not just going to end from the harbour at the Monday market. That exercise will be having it on a regular basis. We want to make sure that people adhere to the COVID-19 guidelines.
You're watching Camnet TV News. We'll take another break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Good day to you, our dear esteemed customers. As ZAMBIA, we're glad to bring something of excitement to you, and it's a promotion we've dubbed Yatu, which simply means it's yours. And in this promotion, we're giving benefits that are tailored to you specifically as a customer, depending on the profile or the segment that you're sitting on as a customer. And in this promotion, we are saying you will get from as low as 13 way benefits amounting to over 500%. And it's all for you so that you get more benefits. So to know more about Yatu, stay on.
Yatu is a promotion that offers ZAMBIA customers amazing benefits that are made just for you. ZAMBIA customers will get amazing benefits of over 500% bonus back the value that they use when they subscribe to a Yatu offer. Yatu benefits will be usable for ZAMBIA to ZAMBIA calls, ZAMBIA to ZAMBIA SMSs, and browsing on pay-as-you-go defined rates. For you to access the amazing Yatu offers, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 1 to purchase the offer that best suits you. ZAMBIA customers will have the ability to actually purchase the Yatu benefit more than once. So this means you can purchase the offer twice, you can purchase the offer 3 times, and the benefits will be accumulative at the end of the day. Yatu benefits will be able to be redeemed if you subscribe to the same offer within a 5-day period. So if you have unused benefits from the previous day and the expiry date comes, you can still subscribe to the same offer within 5 days and your benefits will be able to accumulate. How amazing is that? For you to check your Yatu benefit balance, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 2 and you'll be able to see your current balance.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Camnet TV offers a wide range of advertising spaces for motion adverts, preaching programs, social media advertising, studio facilities, productions, programs and documentaries. Grow your business with us at Camnet TV. For advertising space, visit our offices at plot number 396/100 Ibex Hill, Kablonga Road. Call 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can email us at info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We now look at international news. At least 70 people have died and more than 1,200 people have been arrested after days of riots and looting across South Africa. Protests began after former President Jacob Zuma turned himself in on July 7 to police to serve a jail term for contempt of court. South Africa has been under a COVID-19 lockdown for more than a year, and the demonstrations have expanded to include concerns about increasing poverty and inequality. In other news, the British government has pushed a plan through Parliament to slash the foreign aid budget. This is despite a rebellion by a group of MPs from the governing Conservative Party. The government maintains it needs to suspend a legal obligation to spend 0.7% of gross domestic product on aid to help rein in public borrowing. It has ballooned to World War II levels during the coronavirus pandemic. The UK has been one of the world's leading foreign aid donors, the first G7 country to enshrine in law an international commitment to give away 0.7% of GDP. Here is a roundup of international news.
A fifth day of looting and riots grip Alexandra Township in the north of Johannesburg. Police struggle to keep people away, but those temporarily deterred by rubber-coated bullets and tear gas return within minutes. Hours later, soldiers are deployed. They apprehend a group of men they suspect of shooting at them, searching for guns and other weapons. With the army on the street, these business owners say they feel safe to return to see what they've lost. They find their stores gutted by looting and fires.
This time I can't believe it. I'm 40 years in this country, but I can't believe it has happened like that.
In other parts of the Gauteng province, there's also been extensive looting. Stores at this mall in Diepkloof in Soweto have been entirely ransacked. There's nothing left. And now soldiers and police have been deployed to places just like this to try and protect whatever little is left and also keep looters away. But preventing the looting in many areas in Johannesburg has proven difficult and appears to be impossible to stop. Here, grocery stores, a butcher's shop, banks and ATMs are completely destroyed. Security guards say they tried to keep looters away as they waited for the police, but it was too late. Smat Shabe worked at this food outlet.
Now I'm angry because what am I supposed to do from now? Where am I going to get paid? where is my salary gonna come from? Because this is my livelihood. How am I gonna support my family? Because of this. And the criminals that have been rampaging these places, and the police were nowhere to be seen.
With riots and the disruption of services in the Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal provinces, there are concerns people will run out of food. There are many unhappy with the destruction.
I don't know where am I going to buy food. I don't know. As you can see, that it's bad. And as the situation, people are not working, but this is not a solution.
The protests that began after the jailing of former President Jacob Zuma have now escalated to riots linked to increasing poverty and inequality. South Africa has been under varying stages of COVID-19 lockdown for more than a year. Worsening unemployment, already at 32%, has fueled anger and resentment at a government that is struggling to cope.
Under pressure from dissenting MPs in all parties, the government granted Parliament a vote on its decision to cut overseas aid.
Theresa May.
Opposition was loudest among its own, with a former Prime Minister leading the charge.
We made a promise to the poorest people in the world. The government has broken that promise. This motion means that promise may be broken for years to come. With deep regret, I will vote against the motion today.
Prime Minister Boris Johnson opened the debate, saying this was an argument not about principle but practicality. The foreign aid cut would be temporary, he said, just until Britain's finances recovered from the crippling cost of the pandemic.
This year, our national debt is climbing towards 100% of GDP, the highest for nearly 6 decades. The House knows that the government has been compelled to take wrenching decisions, and the International Development Act of 2015 expressly provides that fiscal circumstances can allow a departure from the 0.7% target.
Opponents and rebels within his own party weren't persuaded. The cut from 0.7% of GDP to 0.5 is already in place for this year. That means more than $5 billion lost in funding for life-saving projects across the developing world, and at a time when it's never been needed more. In Parliament, there were predictions that 100,000 people may die as a result, with millions more facing malnutrition. The UK has until now been one of the world's leading foreign aid donors, the first G7 country to enshrine in law an international commitment to give away 0.7% of gross domestic product. That's a distinction many MPs were unwilling to give up, and one they'll now see as a blow to Britain's image and its soft power in the world.
More than a dozen suspects detained in connection to the assassination of Haiti's president.
Haitians on and off the island demanding justice for the slaying of their president. At least one of the suspected gunmen has South Florida connections.
Specifically to a charity based out of Broward County. 7's Andrew Scheinthal live in North Lauderdale this morning, where one of those accused suspects used to work. Andrew.
And something that's very alarming about this suspect is that we have now learned that he used to be a bodyguard at the Canadian Embassy in Haiti.
Where do you go when you have a story that says your own people hurt you, your own people took out your leader?
The assassination of the Haitian president was shocking news to the Haitian community living in South Florida. Now another unbelievable revelation. One of the suspects arrested in the assassination is James Solage, a Haitian American with a South Florida-based charity. This new video out of Haiti shows some of the assassination suspects handcuffed, sitting on the floor. It appears to include Solage. In an undated video, a man who is identified as Solage is seen with school children in Haiti.
I went down there to help in the education sector because I want to return to the area to help facilitate education.
His charity's website asks for donations to support the growth and development of underprivileged people in Haiti and fund scholarships of Haitian students.
I decided on my own to return to the area that helped me so I could give back.
The website also describes Salaj as the former chief commander of bodyguards for the Canadian Embassy in Haiti. It says Salaj currently works as a corporate executive as a consultant in different locations throughout South Florida.
I'm just heard in Facebook.
This woman says she heard about the arrest on social media. Her husband worked with Salaj's charity, which as of Thursday night went offline.
No explanation.
Salaj often wrote about charitable works on social media, but posted on Twitter last year. We live in a crazy time. It's not loyalty or no real genuine love. It's all about what a person can get out of you or how they can use you until you're of no use anymore. Stay prayed up and protect your energy.
To have a president in your own country, to have outsiders coming in to plan some kind of assassination like this, to me is very disturbing.
We do know, according to the Herald, there's another man by the name of Joseph Vincent from South Florida who's currently in police custody in connection to that assassination. We're live in North Lauderdale. I'm Andrew Scheinthal, 7 News.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, the National Olympic Committee of Zambia Secretary General has appreciated the move made by the Chinese government of cancelling the pre-Olympic Games because of COVID-19, which were destined to take place in Tokyo. Speaking to Camnet News in an interview, National Olympic Committee of Zambia Secretary General Boniface Kambikambi has disclosed that the move is of good faith, as it will protect the citizens of both countries. More in the following report.
A variety of youths trained in different sports activities have camped at the Olympic Development Center in readiness for the forthcoming Olympic Games, which were cancelled due to coronavirus in Tokyo, China in 2020. The National Olympic Committee of Zambia Secretary General Boniface Kambikambi has shown gratitude to the Chinese government for having cancelled the pre-Olympic Games, as this was a major health hazard to the people.
The decision by the Chinese government to cancel the training camp for the team for the Zambia team going to the Olympics. In our view, with the conditions and the reasons put behind it, we accept it and we appreciate their decision, and we understand where I'm coming from, because these are unprecedented times, and therefore to ensure that I think it's good to protect our own people as well as their people.
Camnet TV took time to interview 2 athletes who assured the nation that they are ready to participate in the forthcoming competitions.
So far, we have seen my training. We started training since last year when they opened up, because all the facilities were closed that time. So when they opened up, I moved from home to here. So I'm now turning to here without getting back home. So far, so good. The training is just okay, and we are enjoying, and we are preparing for the Paralympic Games next month.
Okay, what I can say is the preparation are going on very well. Since the competition was supposed to happen in last month in December, due to coronavirus, we didn't have the event, so it is an advantage to us. Looking at, we have a lot of we had a long periods to train.
The coronavirus has disturbed many programs around the world, among them sporting activities. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
And still in sports news, the Zambia national team has failed to defend the COSAFA Castle Cup after losing 2 out of 5 games, winning 1 and drawing Wednesday's encounter goalless against host South Africa. In the tournament of local players, the Chipolo Polo boys lost the first and second matches against the Lesotho and Eswatini respectively, and managed to beat the Zebras of Botswana by 2-1. Speaking in post-match interview, Chipolo Polo coach MICHO says the boys gave their best. He says the tournament will help Zambia in the build-up to the World Cup qualifiers. Meanwhile, the Teranga Lions of Senegal will play against Eswatini, while South Africa will be up against Mozambique in the semi-finals.
Any coach is to see that your players
in blink of their eyes, in face expression and body language, are giving everything for the country. This will hugely benefit Zambia in times ahead of us. For us, we need to look at the regrets that we had in that match, those two matches. Yesterday, and especially today, when we played in proper footballing conditions, we have shown what we are capable of and how we can play. Very satisfied with the application. Coach could not ask more than 24 hours after a very hard match in tough conditions on tough field. To come and play and give everything is something that fills me very proud, and I believe that we have found a spirit that will help us in the World Cup qualifiers against Mauritania and Tunisia to get the performance and results, especially when our players playing in Europe are joining the team. That spirit we need to keep up, and this is a bridge on the way to World Cup qualifiers.
To end the news, we'll take a look at stories making headlines once again. MMD and one other political party refused to sign peace accord, citing issues with the Patriotic Front. New Heritage Party calls on ECZ to loosen campaign restrictions. Government to resume paying traditional leaders as ruled by the Constitutional Court. And in international news, death toll rises as South Africa violence spirals. And in sports, Zambia fails to defend the COSAFA Cup as MICHO shifts attention to World Cup qualifiers. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, which is coming from Psalms 59 verse 16, and it reads, "But I will sing of your strength and will joyfully proclaim your faithful love in the morning. For you have been a stronghold for me, a refuge in my day of trouble." On that note, we come to the end of the main news. Thanks for watching. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.